Greetings to all the beloved across the realm. As always and always, Miset. If you're new here, what that means, and uh, my personal native tongue, it uh, what we call Turtle Island or America. It means love, balance, and wholeness be within you in all that you love. Okay, that's the uh, best way it can be described. So, I don't even know how I just came on here and I see that you guys was already in the comments, chopping it up. I don't even know what happened, to be honest with you. Um, I have that's a first. Could y'all hear me or anything? Uh, because I didn't even know it was on. To be real with you, my children came in from playing outside, and as soon as they came in, I looked and I was getting the lesson ready, and I didn't realize the clock. And at the moment, I am some of you are aware that the moves that are being made in the physical for a physical property that will be an off-grid community. Um, it's been a hustle, bustle, and wrestle. Now, for it's been going on for about 2 years now, where doors have opened and then shut, opened and shut. But uh, I know what that truly means. So people have. There's been numerous locations where I've been asked to come basically set everything up, been given the reins. Here you go. Uh, there's been, locations in Canada, Oregon, Washington State, pretty much a lot on the western coast of America. Uh, but I'm on the east right now, and I've primarily throughout all the teachings online, I was actually right directly in the center in Kansas City. So right now I'm on the East Coast, which it was already unveiled where the place was going to be. Um, Even when I went, tried to go against it and look and say, well, maybe, because I've always known it was gonna be in the mountains. I already knew it was gonna be in the mountains. But even when I looked elsewhere, that was still like in the mountains, but just elsewhere where it wasn't it was a different place that was already unveiled to I. It just it's not right when if it feels like you're doing something wrong. That's how you know that you're out of alignment. It just feels you automatically feel like you're doing something wrong, even when it's something as simple as looking at properties elsewhere. So the reason I tell you that is because at the moment, I am staying with the only living elder that I have in my direct bloodline, and that is my father. And he is on a different schedule than most of us. So right now, where I currently am, it says 8:20 on the clock. That's about the time that he usually lays it down. So out of respect for him, when he comes walking in, I may have to cut this part 3 a little short. So let's just jump right into it. But I told you guys in the beginning of this, and please excuse, I know I have a lot of people that call me out sometimes, say, Chief, thought you said 24 hours. You got to realize a lot of the moments were at the end of teachings when I say, okay, I'm gonna give it 24 hours to let this teaching marinate, and then I'm gonna come on with the next teaching. You see it? I'm saying I'm going to see. That's when I'm thinking and I'm telling what I'm trying to plan. But you must realize, single eye, that if I say it's, next teaching will be 24 hours and it's not, that doesn't mean something's wrong. That doesn't mean I forgot about class and school. It doesn't mean that I'm, standing you up or anything. And I see those in the comments who, I'm not trying to say others are not wise, but I will see others in the comments that say, look, when the student is ready, the teaching will appear. And that is always how it goes. And so don't think that I'm just sitting around and I forgot about the teaching, or I don't want to. Trust and know that if I'm not on here teaching and I said I was going to be on here, it is on my mind the same way it's on yours, if not more. So, the Great Spirit, the I don't even want to say timing, the moments, the now is always perfect. It's the eternal perfect now. Okay, so here we are now for part 3. You guys know I don't like notes, but because I know I was coming on a little later than I would like, I did write just a little guideline. So basically, let's recap. And greetings to everyone that's coming in. If you didn't, if I didn't greet you, Miset to all. And it's good to see all of you. I love all of you, and it's an honor and a privilege to be your teacher, your friend, your brother. Okay, so I want to let you know I genuinely love you, all of you. Even if the ones that come in here, as long as it's not a bot or an NPC, as long as you're an eternal soul, and even if you're an eternal soul that's in here trolling or say this guy's full of crap or this or that, I still love you. So, all right, recap. Saturn has many names, including L. We all know that. L. Okay. What's L? Okay. Well, L7 is the square of the cube. Okay. So you got L, which they call God, but specifically Saturn. And then you got 7. Well, who worships L and what day is L worshipped on? The Sabbath, Sabaoth, or Saturn day, which is the 7th day where they tell you that El created this realm in 7 days. Well, it's L7. It's the cube. It's the squaring of the circle of the mother of the feminine, the feminine, Fe, iron-based blood in the physical. Iron man, 9 is completion. Okay, and the golden ratio, which goes back to the Phi as well. So it's the PHI Phi, feminine, and the Fe, Phi, iron based blood, which is A, B, B, and O. Abo regional, not abo original. It's abo regional because we were spread out in different regions. Okay, 4 original bloodlines, red blood. 33 original tribes in this crater, which means that simply means there were 4 original bloodlines with 33 original tribes. The 33 tribes were only separated by 223 genes. The 33 tribes are only separated by 223 genes. This is one of the secrets of the skull and bones. That's why their number's 322, because that they know the secret of the skull and the bones, the mind and the bones, the original bloodlines here. That's why in Genesis 3:22, it also says if they bite off the tree of life, they're going to become like us. Okay. And this and that. They're going to know this and they're going to live and this and that. But see, we're not going to be. The key word is be like. That's the mystery, the missed story. When they said, if you eat of this, you will be like God. See, that was a downgrade because we weren't trying to be like God. We already was God. We was God. We still are. We are gods and goddesses. So why we want to be like gods and goddesses? If you do this, you'll be like gods and goddesses. No, we are gods and goddesses. Well, I want to be like what I already am. You're the one that wants to be like us. That's why they mimic and mirror everything we do, but a mirror inverts and diverts and perverts the image. It turns a real image into a virtual image. Okay? So Saturn has many names. El Elyon, that's mainly Canaanite. Okay? To be clear, in this teaching, anytime I speak about Hebrew language, there is no Hebrew language. No such thing. Hebrew is a Greek word. There's no such thing as Hebrew people. There's no such thing as ancient Hebrews, none of that. Okay? Hebrew is a Greek word. It's an anagram in their mystery schools for her web. It's the language they made. It's called Paleo Hebrew. It means it's hollow. It's pale. Okay, something pale carries no light. It's lifeless. It's a dead language. Okay, Paleo Hebrew. It's like a dead spider. When you see a dead spider, a male spider got eaten by the female spider, and it's pale. It's almost see-through. That's that language. The Greeks made it up. Okay, as a psyop. The real Hebrew comes from the word haparu, and before that it was apiru, which was not a bloodline, it was not an ethnicity, it was not a color of people, it was not a people of a region, it was a class of people within society, like middle class, upper class, and lower class, or in India, the caste system. That's what a Hebrew is, a Piru. They were people that hired themselves out for various services. That is what they were. And the language they spoke was an amalgamation of wherever they went. And where did they go? They went wherever the work was. Babylon. Okay, for Sumer, Mesopotamia area, Babylon. Before that, Uruk, Eridu, and then later, what you call Egypt, which was called Tamara at that moment, and then it was called Kem or Kemet for a very short period. Okay, everyone thinks Kemet and Kem is like the ancient. It was only called Kem for a very short period, okay, which means the blackness. And they try to tell you it comes from the color of skin or the color of the soil from the Nile. That's all nonsense. It came from the Hyksos dynasty after the changeover event from the age of Taurus to the age of Aries, okay, when the high priest of Tamara got up out of there and took a group of whoever would follow him, which most of them were the Apirus, meaning the working class people. They followed the high priest, Amenhotep IV. Originally, he had the whole concept of Atonism, which changed once they got in the desert, and he just went with the flow, and it turned into, he realized these people were Jacobites, and he ran with it. And he just turned it into, it evolved into Yahweh or Yahuwah or Yahweh, whatever, Jehovah, okay? Judaism, which evolved into Christianity today. But so I say that to say this. If you hear me in this teaching say the Hebrew language, so we can clear this up right now. I'm not talking about a real Hebrew language. I'm talking about what they call Hebrew language, okay, which was an amalgamation of Phoenician and Canaanite and a little bit of Akkadian. Akkadians had their hands on anything written back then, okay, Akkadians and Phoenicians pretty much, and Akkadians. Akkadians were known to change things. Phoenicians really like would start things. Akkadians would come through and like change it. And the Canaanites had their own thing that was very similar, almost identical to the Phoenicians, but it was changed a little bit. So that's what they call the Hebrew language, which is just Phoenician and Canaanite, really. Okay, so Elyon, that's mainly the Canaanite name for Saturn. Okay, it was also known as the Star of Justice and Horus the Bull. Okay, in Babylonian, it was known as Kayamanu, which I've showed you in part 1 or 2, that's just Manuyaki. See, the Kabbalists, who are an ancient sect, it's who you would call the Illuminati today. Okay, the Kabbalists are the ancient sect of the Cabal, basically. You know, the shadow government. It's been around for thousands upon thousands of years. Okay, so the Kabbalists have 3 secret languages. One is called Gematria, which the Gematria today is not the real Gematria. Not knocking anybody that does it and likes it and cracks little codes and stuff, but that's not the real Gematria. That's New Age Gematria, what they're doing. What you write, you know, so that's just numerology with words. That's not real Gematria. Gematria is geometric language. It's coordinates, and it's sacred geometry through words. That's what real Gematria is. It's like a treasure map. Okay, it's telling you something. It's telling you something where or what's getting ready to happen based on a symbol. Unless someone is showing you that Gematria, then they're not showing you the real Gematria. So it's 3 Kabbalistic languages: Gematria, Temora, and Notiricon. Okay, and I always get Notiricon and Temora mixed up, but one of those is when they just switch the syllables around, like Shamash, which is also known as Utu, which is the twin of Ishtar or Inanna, the twin brother. If you take Shamash and use Temora and move it around, hey Pop, it's Moshe. So Shamash, Moshe, and Moshe is who they call Moses. Okay, so you know, and that was Atonism, which was just sun worship. That's all it was. Okay, and Shamash is the Babylonian sun god for the sun. It was representing the sun, and to this day, the so-called Hebrew or Jews, on the menorah, the top candle is called Shamash, and it's the candle that they use to light the other 6 other candles, or depending on which menorah they're using, menorah. It could be 8. It could either be 7 candles altogether or 9. It's just the planets. That's it. When they found out about the planets that they couldn't see with the naked eye, that's when they changed the menorah or menorah. Okay, aura, the aura of men. Okay, which is also Atlantis, but that's a whole nother thing. So the Babylonian name for Saturn is Kayamanu, which is, if you use the Cabalistic, one of their secret languages is Manuyaki, which is just Anunnaki. it's just their way of telling you that the Anunnaki are Saturnians. Okay, these are who are the Saturnians, the Anunna. Okay, which was changed to Anunnaki by the Akkadians. Like I said, they're always changing stuff. The original tablets just say Anunna. It's the distorted masculine, distorted feminine. It's not the sacred masculine or sacred feminine. It's the distorted. It's the Saturnian version of the masculine and feminine. The 369, the 1/3. That's why I tell you 1/3 of the angels fell from heaven and this and that. No, it's the 1/3 energy of the angles of light that came. Okay, and these beings embody that frequency or that nature sign or signature. Ours is the phi. It doubles 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 16, which is 7, 16 to 32, which is 5, 32 to 64, which is 10. The 10 goes through the 0 point, which is the heart, and goes back to the 1. Okay, that's the doubling. That's the phi. But it all comes from right here. Okay. All right. So and Manuyaki or Kayamanu just means the steady one or the aged one. Okay. Also, we all know Greek, it's Kronos, the father that eats his own children, which Kronos in Greek is actually just time. It's linear time, masculine time, okay? And the origin of time. That's what Chronos really means, okay? It's the time frequency. But the Greek also called, a lot of people don't know this, called Saturn Cairo, okay? Or the Cairo, all right? Which means the force that limits and shapes all things. So it wasn't, everyone just knows Chronos. No, that's the frequency being sent from there. Okay. The personification of Saturn by the Greeks was called Kairos or the Cairo. Sounds a lot like Chiro or the Christos. Okay, so the Cairo in Greek means the force that limits. It's the limit of what? Of time. It's the limit. You can't go past Saturn. That's their god. Even in Hebrew, the first word in the scriptures, the Torah, there's the Ra again, or your Holy Bible, your King Yaakov, authorized Canaanite Bible says in the beginning 3 words, but really it's one word. It says Bereshith, and it says be reset. Okay, it's 6 characters. The first character is the Bet, which is a square that is shaped like a maze. It's a spiral, but it's a square spiral. And Bet means home, and it means Saturn. Okay, it's the gatekeeper. It's the ultimate gatekeeper. Okay, so Cairo or Kairos in Greek is the force that limits and shapes all things. It's the great architect. Tech, like archons, okay? The Masonic compass in the old father time with the hands coming with the 33 degrees coming down and all that. Okay, the father god is the great architect. Tech. What is tech? Tech comes from the Greek word techne, which means idolatry. So it's the arc that I tech. Just like Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. It's my creation. It's what I've created. And what has happened, these 369 Saturnian beings have merged with creation. They've merged with the ark that I tech. Elon Musk, the Neuralink, the Starlink, and all that. The ark that he techs. The great architect. Technique, idolatry. Okay. The ark that I made into an idol that I'm going to turn you into, and you're going to mix with it. Not I'm saying this is what I'm quoting them. This is their sentiment. This is what they're trying to do. They know they can't leave here. They're still trying to leave here. But, excuse me, my back. They're still trying to leave. And I'm going to show you that in this teaching. But I just lost my train of thought. I thought my pops was talking to me. They're still trying to leave, but their main goal now is to get you to get stuck here with them so they can use you as a battery. So they can... Souls are their parachute to remain immortal in time. Or they're going to have to keep up with the frequency and changing of the ages and all that and the energy to be able to do this. So that they do soul scraping, you know, like Queen Lizard Bet. Bet is Saturn, the Saturn lizard. So Elizabeth, and they soul scraped her and into baby Lilibet. Okay, over there in with the crown. Okay, the Virginia Corporation that you think is Britain or the United Kingdom's corporation. There's like maybe 2 or 3 countries, real countries left in this realm. Everything else is merchants. Everyone is waiting in these books for the one world religion, Ra Legion. That's already here. It's called Father God worship. Everyone's waiting on a one world currency. That's already here. It's called Federal Reserve Note, the Rothschild banking system. Everyone's waiting on the one world government. That's already here. It's called UCC, Admiralty Maritime Law. It's all merchant laws. So everything that all the Biblicans are waiting on is already here, right in front of their faces. Can't even see it. They can't see the forest because they're this close to the tree in front of them. Idolatry, the idol tree, the tree that don't move and they're not moving, so they're just sitting here stuck. Here's a tree. This is one tree. No, it's just one tree, but they're in a forest. And the truth is right in front. The truth is always in front of you in all ways. Always. So, so Cairo in Greek is the force that limits and shapes all things. Well, in Colossians 1:16, it says, For in him and by him all things were created, both in the heavens and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, limits. All things were created by him and for him. Speaking of Christ, the Chiro or the Chiro, okay, but the Greeks call Saturn Kairos, okay. But in Colossians 1:16, it says about Christ, the Chiros or the Christos, it says, for in him, by him, all things were created, both in the heavens and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities, all things were created by him and for him. And Kairos in Greek means the force that limits. So that's the same as creating thrones and dominions and rulers. Rulers limit. So it sounds like right in their book they turned the Christ, the Christos, the light of this world, that's actually the all spark, the piece of the spark of the all that is you, the real you. They've, even in their books, they've turned it to Saturn. That's why you cannot believe anybody, because believing is still believing. So you got to know that anyone that's pushing any kind of Legion of Ra on you, and they're still trying to decipher it and figure out a way to justify that this is the way, they're trying to mix words and trying to figure it out and try to justify, like, nah, if you take this and you take this and this is what it means. That's just justification, rationalization, and minimalization. Same thing that drug addicts do with addiction. They're addicted to the idolatry, addicted to the story. They can't let go of the mythos that was supposed to be the higher than illumination. I've taught you that before in teachings about the 6 levels of the light. The highest level of the light, higher than illumination, is inspiration. All the mythos, whether it's Dr. Seuss' book, is no different or better or less than the Bible. It's a book. It's 2-dimensional. Chief, where are you getting this from? What book did you read? You want me to quote something from 2D and to give you a higher understanding, a higher vibrational unveilation, but you want me to tell you that I read it from a 2-dimensional source, bibliographies and all this and that, and I read 60,000 books. That's 60,000 2-dimensional objects that was written by another person that came out of a womb, or a cesarean section, a Khazar or Czar or Osar, ruler of the golden light, the aura, Osar, Osiris, the one that got you stuck here. You got to be born again and again and again and again and again and again. The ruler of the underworld. Where do you think you at right now? You in the underworld, beloved. You're not now. It's not. You're only in hell if you say you're in hell and you make it hell. I heard somebody earlier, a teacher, saying that this is hell, and this no, because he said that. Yep. And I'm not going to say his name, but he's in prison right now. Has a very big following, and he claims that we're in hell and Zeus is running this whole thing and this and that. Well, look where you're at. It's all the fruit of your word. You're making your own you and I verse. You're the master of the universe. You're He-Man, but it's really Fee-Man. Fee-Man. 9. 9 is completion. It's the high. There's only 9 numbers. That's it. The rest is a sequence. It's just a sequence. There's only 9 numbers. 0 is source. It's not even a number. It's the black hole. It's the triple black seed of the mother, where all vibrations come out and all vibrations return. The womb, where organic minds begin and where organic minds return. Okay, because all is mind. Okay, once you're here in the eternal now. All right. So a lot of correlations with Christ in the Bible and Saturn, down to the very name. Okay. And that whole Yahuwah or Christ's name is Yeshua or Yahweh or Yahushua, that's a bunch of nonsense. That's a bunch of nonsense because the Greeks made up that whole language. And they're the ones that pretty much hijacked. The Romans really sealed the deal, but the Greeks were master scribes. And see, there's still some truth in that book. It's like truth is always and always now. So, Christ said, beware of the scribes. But yet people worship the scribe, what the scribes wrote. They worship this, the inerrant word of God. This the inerrant word of God. This the inerrant word of God. Which version? Which out of 60,000 versions and counting, which one is the inerrant word of God? When he said, beware of the scribes and Pharisees, which means the people that's pushing the Ra Legion. But yet everybody's following the scribes and the Ra Legion. Insanity. All right. So Chronos is the quantifiable concept of time. It's linear progression. So even though they're in a loop, which is called the analemma, in ancient Tamara or Egypt, it's called the Apep, the snake that was slayed by Ra, cut in half. Tiamata, that was slain, cut in half by Marduk. Okay, it's the natural energy, but it's also a cycle here in this realm. So Chronos is the quantifiable concept of time, linear progression. Okay. And they've been keeping track. They've been stuck in time for 13.8 billion years. Okay. 13.8 billion years they've been stuck in a loop. That's when they severed the tie. Their umbilical cord, the greatest of spirit, to the womb. They can never return because they're not organic anymore. Hey, baby. Put on the counter, please. You gotta eat dinner first before you can have that after dinner. But let Daddy do this real quick because Pop trying to go to sleep. So Cairo or Kairos is a specific event or opportunity in time, seizing an opportunity, the right or critical time. That's Kairos. So Chronos is just the quantifiable concept of time, linear. Cairo or Kairos is a specific event or seizing an opportunity, the right or critical time. And guess where it originates from? It originates from archery and weaving. Now, you were probably told, if you're like I, that sin is an archery term. It means you missed the mark. So here we have Cairo or Chiros. The Chiros or the Kairos is a specific event or seizing opportunity, the right or critical time. It originates from archery and weaving. In archery, Kairos denotes the moment when an arrow, listen, let this edify you now. Don't just hear it and don't just listen to it. Allow it to edify you. In archery, the Kairos or the Kiros denotes the moment when an arrow is shot with sufficient force to penetrate a target. In the book Chironomia by E.C. White, defines Kairos as the long tunnel-like aperture through which the archer's arrow must pass. In weaving, listen to that now. Kairos is the long tunnel-like aperture which the archer's arrow must pass. The bullseye, the tunnel that it goes through. Okay. In weaving, Kairos denotes the moment in which the shuttle could be passed through the threads of the loom. Loom, moon, womb. And when it gets passed through the threads of the loom, through what's called the warp. And there's something in the loom called the temple that adjusts the warp. Now, let's show some visuals on this. Okay. So here is the warp right here. You see this? So this is the when they're comparing the kairos or the kiros to weaving. This is the warp right here. See this? See all this? Well, look at the serpent. Look at the apep, the analemma right here. See it? See the snake on the pole? All right. Now look at the loom. Here's the warp right here. Okay. Notice it's a cube. Okay. Warp is wrapped onto the warp beam as the cloth is made. The cloth is a veil. As the veil is made, here's the cube, here's the warp, here's the loom or the moon or the womb. Okay. And the weaver or the great architect, all right, is making the cloth. The fell, the woven part, is wrapped onto the breast beam next to the weaver. All right. Now, what's it called? Shuttle. Here is the shuttle that must be passed through the warp. All right. Remember, this all has to do with Saturn, y'all. Keep in mind, stay focused on what's going on. Let me make sure y'all can hear me. Can everyone hear me okay? When I'm sharing the screen, can everyone see the screen share and hear I as well? Just let me know, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay. So here's the shuttle that has to go through the warp at a specific event. Remember, event. Seizing opportunity at the right or critical time. That's what kairos is. So what does this go back to? This goes back to part 2 when I was showing you how in ancient glyphs and ancient texts, we know that the changeover event has Saturn and I read to you last time, the main thing was Mars and Venus, okay, which has nothing to do with the physical a physical planet, like a ball floating. It's all about light. It's holography. It's lenses and lights and things. Nibiru is here. They're hiding it from us with the spray. No, they're really what they're trying to hide from you is that everything is aligning. And I saw 2 pictures today of a red sphere in the sky. That's what we just went over in part 2. That's Mars, okay? But it's not the little itty bitty star Mars. It's because it's hitting a lens at a certain angle. Things are starting to align, and what's going to happen is, and it's an amalgamation that happens above the North Pole called the abomination of desolation. When all these energies, the 7 bowls that are down here on the same plane of inertia, okay, are all the energies are going to amalgamate into what we call the sun, and it's going to be the blue Kachina, aka abomination of desolation, above magnetic north, aka the center of the bowl that we are in, and it's going to stop Okay. The 3 days of darkness are when it goes past the Tropic of Cancer and keeps going in a spiral towards the magnetic north. There's some people going to have 3 days of day, and some people going to have 3 days of night. And it's going to be sitting in the middle, and it's going to remove its mass, and that's the blue beam that comes out. And then a brighter blue beam comes up out of the earth. It's actually bluish purple, aurora borealis, but it's not just the gaseous, it's not the aurora, the chilling one, the one that's just chilling, laid back, just sliding through. It's all means business. It's Excalibur coming out of the stone. Okay, it's Michael coming with the sword to do this and that. It's all this. It's King. What was it? King Arthur or King George or whatever killing the dragon and this and that. Okay, it's all those stories. That's what it's. They're not real stories, y'all. I mean, they're real stories, but they're meant to inspire you. Okay, they're telling you something. The answer, but even without, like, the ancestors, just as I am passing on a 2-dimensional account of all of this, it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter if it makes it through or not, because the same way that it's been activated within the light codes that I carry and others is the same way it happens every cycle. There's always going to be people. There's souls that are here that already graduated, that came back just to anchor in the A tone meant, the A alpha tone of the mind, the source code. Okay. So if we look at the shuttle, excuse me. So this is Elon Musk. He's going to try to leave in this at the opportune moment, because remember in weaving it says it's the kairos, with when it comes to arrows, it's when the arrow is shot with sufficient force to penetrate a target. What they trying to penetrate? He's trying to get out of the dome when it opens up. And it also says that it defines E.C. White in his book Chironomia defines Kairos or Kairos as the long tunnel-like aperture through which the archer's arrow must pass. So for them to get out of here, they got something like this. You've seen it in old pictures and everything, black ones that look like this and stuff. That's gonna they're gonna try to get out of here at the opportune moment. Kairos. Why is it Kairos? Why is it connected to Saturn? Because it looks like this. Hold on. The Ankh is many things, okay? It represents the feminine energy, all right? But it's also, see, this is an Ankh with the Jed pillar, the Jedi pillar. This was technology they carried with them, okay? And they, being the ancestors, the way they were able to figure this out was from the ones that witnessed a changeover event, because this is amongst other symbols like the menorah or Atlantis. This is one of the things you see. Squatter man is another one when it's like this. Okay, that's Atlas holding up the heavens. Okay, that's Gabin Nut. All right, that's Nut with her back over the firmament and things and all of that. This right here is the electromagnetic spectrum, the phi energy. Okay, the son of, they call it the son of man, but it's the son of womb man. Okay, this is what it looks like. That's where they get this from. And the ones they carried around actually were charged with electricity. And electricity represented spirit. the Ka and the Ba. Remember, the magnetism is Mama. The master mason is Mama, which is magnetism, unseen. El is supposedly the father. That's electric. So they were carrying around the spirit. They call it the breath of life. It's the story that the Greeks have of Prometheus still in the light, and then he got chained down, and the eagle was eating him, his liver every day, and this and that. Chained to a rock, Zeus chained him down, which is just the energy of Jupiter. Okay. So this is what they're talking about. Okay. It's the light. Now the light on here, the reason I wear it backwards with the white is because they got, I know this is probably representing somebody's flag or something, the colors, but they got it incorrect. The green is should be in the middle. But that's what that is. That's how they figured it out, because it's people that seen it on the largest scale, macro, micro. The truth always and always. That's the feminine energy. This is the womb. This is the ovaries. This is all of that. It's the birth canal. It's the fallopian tubes. Okay. They even inverted it with the Baphomet, with the upside down star. That's the feminine energy turned upside down, flipped on you. The divine feminine, not the sacred. See, they turn the sacred to the scared now. All right. Now, so look. So the loom, or the warp, excuse me. So this is the warp that they have an opportune chance to get through. Okay, they gotta find, and they gotta send that shuttle through, or the arrow through a tunnel, a spiral, right? So how are they gonna get through? What does this represent? Look, this has to do with time. I have to do a whole nother teaching on this, but they use this cube magic in Washington, D.C. Each planet has a different, I can't teach it to you guys because I don't teach magic, because I don't do magic, but I know it. So I got to be careful in showing you guys. It's the difference between making you aware of it and actually teaching it to you. And I don't condone it. So I really have to walk. I got to listen to the Great Spirit when it comes to this. But this right here is Saturn magic, but they use it with each, quote, planet. They got Mars and Jupiter squares and this and that. And they do it in DC. And that's what gematria is. And that's why no one ever figures anything out with today's gematria, because they only put it together after an event happens. After something happens, then they're putting stuff in their little calculators, and then they decode it. When real gematria, if you really knew the real gematria, you would figure it out before it happened. You would know it before it happened, because it's all about cubes and geometric patterns and stuff that they put in their messages into the ether. It ain't about communicating with each other. They putting it out into the ether so it can manifest. So the warp is the ley lines. They have to make it through. Elyon, and whoever has to make it through. See? Look. The square and the circle. But they want the square outside of the circle. They gotta make it through here. They gotta look, the waves and everything, all the intersections right here. Look at that. This is the Earth grids. Look at this. Look, this is the Earth grids right here. Underground water veins, Curry grid, Hartman grid, and Banker grid right here. And here's the warp. That all has to do with Kairos, Saturn. It's all about them escaping during the pole shift, y'all. That's what the whole thing is about. Now, another name. Oh, and Kairos or Kiros is also Zeus's youngest son. In Coptic, it's Kiro or Pyro or Myro. In the Igbo language, and some people say Igbo speak ancient Hebrew. That's the real ancient Hebrew. Well, the Igbo do have an ancient language, but that's not Hebrew. But in Igbo, the Kiro or the Kairos means spark. So it's a spark. Okay. So in Coptic, the Christos means water, and Krestos means fire. So what does it say? Christ said you gotta be born of water and fire. Okay. All they're talking about is the water changeover and the fire changeover. All right. It's the great year. It's the great year. It's your incarnations. All right. So is it possible that you have to go through two? Possibly. I haven't asked the Great Spirit that. So I can't sit up here and tell you yes or no on that one. But, maybe I will ask. But is it possible you have to go through the water changeover and the fire one? Could be. Kairos is also is the name of Zeus's youngest son, just to let you know. So it's also another name is Chi-Un or Chi-Un, Un-Chi. That's by the Sabians, aka the Syrian Church. And Chi-Un is used in the Bible as well, in Amos 5:26. And the Sabians or the Syrian Church taught that Chi-Un or Chi-Un is the God of the Jews. 100% the God of the Jews. So basically what the ancestors knew was they was all worshiping Saturn. These people that are writing the Bible and Torah, they're all Saturn worshipers. All of them are worshiping Saturn because it came from the last pole shift. All right, the star that they called the Most High, because it was the visible light that was the Most High. At one point was actually a local, because of holography and lenses, was actually a sun here. They will tell you that we live in a binary sun system. Okay, it's not binary. It's sun nothing. All of it is illusion. It's Shemaya. It's her illusion. It's all optics. That's why they got the eye above everything on all their symbols. What's the top thing? Is the eye, because they know it's all optical illusions. It's all about the lens. That's why Christ said, if then I be single, you'd be better off closing both of your eyes, because you have eyes that can only see virtual images. Our lenses, we don't have reptilian or cat pupils. Reptilian, snakes, and cats have the pupils that can see real and virtual images. The pupils that we have, we can only see virtual images with these eyes. That means everything you see is literally an illusion with these eyes. That's division. It's division. You're seeing 0.003% of reality. That means you're seeing basically over 99.9% lie. Everything you see is over 99.9% 9% a lie. Everything you see with these eyes. That's why you better off closing your eyes. That's what meditation is. That's what truly opening up your first eye is, and your eye be single. And what even surpasses that is what? The mind of the heart surpasses all that. Oh, yes, you gotta have that first eye open. You get sealed on your forehead and all that, in the mythos. It's a real thing. All they're saying when the fifth seal comes and the ancestors say, wait. But they tell you you're sitting around Yahweh, Yahuwah. That's a lie. But there's truth in there that the fifth seal comes and the ancestors say, wait. And what happens is the seal on your forehead by the angels, aka angels of light, is your pineal gland being sealed open. It won't be shut again. It will remain open. You will be ready, beloved, to have your I don't knock anybody. I don't talk down on anyone. But if anyone's running around telling you, man, my first eye's wide open, listen, then you don't have a true concept of what it means to have your first eye open. In this world, as a safety measure, so you don't lose your mind, you're not going to be walking around with your first eye open at all moments. It will drive you mad. It will drive you mad. See, now the elites do it unnaturally, inorganically. Achrome, things of that, and they drunk off the blood of the saints, they say. Okay, blood drunkards. Yahuwah, Yahweh, getting drunk off the blood, the smell, the vaporized blood. That's the plasma. That's the plasma in the blood. It's in bodily sexual fluid, aka Solomon. When it went from soul of man, the temple that is built by the master mason, Mama, the temple that God dwelleth in, temples not made by man's hands. Yeah, who can do that? There's only one being in this realm that can make that temple, and that's a womb man. That's womb manifestation. So the real master mason is Mama. Mama. A man can only be a mason. My son, who can make things out of thought, a Thoth, Tahuti, Jehudi. The Jedi, or the El, the electric, the masculine energy, the spirit. Mama can make it from her soul. Soul. Granny come with that soul food. Huh? Is Pop coming with the soul food, or is Granny coming with the soul food? Now, Pop listen. Pop can throw down too. But don't knock Pop. He can cook, but Granny coming with that soul food, that master mason, that Mama, that master builder that can build the temple that gods and goddesses dwell in to experience this reality, aka realm. All right, realm just means anything means more than one. It means more than one real, like a movie reel, and more than one real. You're real, I'm real. We both real in the same moment. But you might be in New Zealand and your time is different. How are you in a different time? How's it different time for you when we both here now? Therefore, time is a frequency that is actually still an illusion. Same thing, everything you see up there and all of that. So once you know that the only thing that exists truly is now, you won. You beat the game. You beat the simulation or the simulacrum or whatever you want to call it. The purge of the soul, the soul's purging of the Taurus, All right, the purge tour. Doesn't matter what you call it. That's a label. What's a label? The lab of L. What's an element? Ment is always mind. Who's L? Saturn. So what are all these elements, aka building blocks, for the great architect? Architect. Architect. Okay. Elements. Number one, hydrogen. The high dragon. The most high dragon. Oh, but when you got more than one, it's the Elohim, aka helium. When you got the three, that's the what? Lithium. Lithium. Lit him. They lit him. They made man in their image. They lit him. Lithium. Lithium. That's three. High dragon, hydrogen is number one on the elements, the mind, the mental of L, the building blocks of L, the great architect, the high dragon, hydrogen. Two, more than one, Elohim, helium. Three, lithium, lithium. And that is represented by the resh. So in Bereshith, the one word with 6 characters that are they were pictures. They weren't letters, they were pictures. The B for Bereshith is Saturn, square, cube, it's like a maze, spiral. Okay. And then after that, you have what is it? After that, it's helium, but it's the resh. Okay. So so the high dragon is considered what they want you to think is the most high source. So that's before the B. Okay, that's the O. Okay, that's the one. The one. I'm a jealous God. There's no other gods but me. I'm the one. Okay, that's the high dragon. So that's before the bet, the B reset, Bereshith. So the B after the high dragon is Saturn, right? Which is Helium or Elion, all right? And then after the bet is the Resh, which means the head man, God man. Okay, which is the third element, which is lithium or lithium or lithium. Okay, it's when they gave light to the flesh, the clay, the dirt, the animal skins. And then the next one is the Aleph, which if you go by the elements, the fourth one is Relium. The fourth element is Relium. Well, guess what? That's when they made the Relum. The fourth element is Relium, which is when after they lit him, they made the Relium, the Relum, okay, which is represented by the Aleph or the bull when they inverted everything. That's when they made this realm and the demiurge, Yada Baoth. Okay, made his realm. Okay, we're gonna get into it. And then the next element is boron, okay, or Orion, or Orion, boron, B-oron. All right, Orion, and it's actually stands for it's a W, which is the bosom. Okay, and it's 3 points. To make the bosom symbol like a W, you got 3 points. 1, 2, 3. The belt of Orion, boron. The next one is carbon, which is represented by the yod. Then the next one is nitrogen. But I'm gonna get into all that. That's gonna be on the next one. So, but I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Just giving y'all a little sneak peek. Uh, I got visuals and everything for that. That'll be on part 4, and I can't. It's not on the internet, so I got to take the moment to actually sketch this out for you guys and put it on here. Just didn't do it right. Okay, so you see the warp I showed you in the shuttle and all that stuff. That's it. As above, so below. Micro, macro. They telling you what's going on. Cairo, Saturn. Okay. They believe their God's finna return, Age of Aquarius, the water bearer, and they gonna be able to escape up out of here, the golden age. Because Saturn, when you look at it, its light is gold. Okay. Saturn is also, remember, we going through the names, right? Chi Yun, Unchi. To take your chi. It needs external energy. So in 700 AD, who's known as the greatest Islamic astrologer ever, named Albumasar, testified that Saturn is 100% without a doubt the god of Israel, the Hebrews, and the Jews, whichever name they want to use. Jacobites, Yahwists, 100% their god is Saturn. If they keeping the Sabbath, talking about the Sabbath, talking about Baraka and this and that, and trying to talk Hebrew and this and that, or identifying, they're either ignorant or they're just openly worshiping Saturn. It's their daddy, it's their father. They're cool with this being it. The problem is that they'll never have the life they think they are going to get. They will be here suffering until that part of their toroid field, their Taurus, is purged, because they're hanging on to idolatry, a two-dimensional inspirational story that has now became what their whole incarnation, soul, force, essence is about. When you are a man or woman, you're supposed to be manifesting what? Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Higher vibrational, unification of what? Of the vibration. You can say light, but it goes higher than that. Sound is higher than light. It's a higher vibration. Sound comes before light. That's why it's always about the word and these little riddles and parables and things, because sound makes light. And when you get to a higher realm, we never spoke words. We spoke through visions, logos. The Greeks know this. Like I said, the Greeks are the master scribes of this cycle, this last cycle. They've been the master scribes of it. It's not that they were geniuses; they were just master scribe record keepers, record keepers. Okay, observers. Okay, they were really master students, is what the Greeks were. All right, so they got all this in there. They know all this. They know about. That's why their word for heaven is Uranus, because Uranus doesn't exist on this plane of inertia. Saturn is where it ends. Uranus will come back. It should be 2046, but I have to look at the stars to be able to see. It's been placed on my heart to stop saying years, because in these dates and times, because they've manipulated these dates and times so much, I have to be able to look at where the lights is at. The lights are the records or the records. So the lights above, what as above, so below. What is loosed up there is loosed down here, and the same thing. Same thing. It's a cycle. So that's another reason they try and block it out with these layers bliss. That's another reason that they're trying to block everything out, but it's always and always. So you will, one of us will be able to see it. We will have a view and be able to see, and it will get passed on. Even if it has to get to supernatural abilities to the point where you access it in the astral or a vision or upload, like they can't. There's nothing they can do. Okay, we have authority. That means author. We're the authors, but we have lost that. Someone asked me, and Great Spirit, when I'm going to have another second ever guest on here. I know 90% of you never heard of him, and this is my brother from another, and I've never met him in the physical, but it's looking like I will be bringing him on. He has 2 channels. And I'm not going to say too much more about it, but I'll be bringing someone else on. It's going to be a really good stream as soon as I'm done this series. But okay, let me see where we at. Okay, so the greatest Islamic astrologer, Al-Bumansar, testifies Saturn is 100% the god of the Israelites, the Hebrews, the Jews, and Saturn in 700 AD to now, well, till recently, was always widely accepted as the abode of the devil god. The devil god. The one that says, I make peace and I create, no, I form light and I create darkness. I make peace and create evil. You notice, I, the Lord, Yahuwah, doeth all these things. You notice the Babylonian word magic? He said, I make peace and create, or I mold the light and create darkness. I make peace and create evil. You see the difference in the words? You see, you gotta. And we haven't been doing that for generations. Gene rations. And we are repairing all of those light codes right now. Right now. All of you are repairing the light codes as, I'm not going to say as I speak, as we all speak. Because I know you are speaking in, even if it's in your consciousness, your soul, you're speaking right now. We are in agreement. We're in agreement. So as we all speak right now, we are repairing the light codes instantly. It's not going to take generations. Nah, we're repairing it right now. And more. Okay, so another name of Saturn in Sumer was Anshar. Okay, remember An? Well, let's go back even further than that. An used to be a woman. An used to be a feminine nature. Then they changed it in Sumer to in the later text, the Akkadians, to An or Anu became a man. Anu, the Most High. And now they got Anu as some cartoon picture with, a dark-skinned man with a beard that's riding around on the Biru spaceship with the Anunnaki and, 9 ether beings, and they're coming back to kill everybody. And Yaakov made all the white people, and we're just all dead if you're not black. Let some of these, I don't even know who they are or what they are, the people that spread these messages like that. But Anshar, An just meant the heavens. Shar was time. So that was the Sumerian word for Saturn, Anshar. Okay. Shar also meant evil. revelation, sexagesimal system, which just means year 60 base timekeeping system. Time, years, started in Sumer 60. You notice how everything else is deca, 10 base, 10, like everything pretty much. Mooney, because that's the reflection of you. You got what you got. You got 10 fingers and 10 toes. So Mooney, you need to be able to count. The Mooney, you got to be able to see. SEA, the sea, the moon controls the sea, the current of the sea, the waters of the mothers, aka the that time of the month, the moon. Okay, but when it comes to time, 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 24 hours, 2 + 4 is 6. Okay, all of that, it's all base 60. 6, the number of man. How? Arm, leg, arm, head. That's a star, 5-point star. How is 6? That's carbon. That's when they put you in the flesh suits. That's the mark of the beast. Okay. So that's another name for Saturn, Anshar, and Sumer. And then the Greco-Egyptian syncretism and the Hellenized version is Iyao Sabaoth. Okay. This was called the deity of the Hebrew worship in the earliest AD years, meaning like year 0, when they tell you that Christ, Jesus was here. The polytheist, which is also the Bible, because Elohim, let us make man in our image. So that's polytheism as well in the Bible. So no, Abrahamic religions are not monotheistic, because even in the Quran, every time Allah is speaking, it says we or us. I guess it's Muhammad and Allah, but it always says us and we in the Quran. Just like Elohim in the Bible means us and we. So all these Abrahamic religions are actually polytheistic. Came from the Canaanites pantheon. Pantheistic polytheism, pantheism. It's all the same, more than one. So Yao Sabaoth, in the earliest AD years, the polytheists reacted to Set and Jehovah the same way that monotheists today, the Father God, one world religion, reacts to Satan. So Yahweh at one point was looked at as Satan. They don't even know it. They don't even know that it was a normal thing for like a large group of those in this realm to look at Yahweh, Jehovah, Yahuwah as the same thing as Set and Satan, depending on where you was at. They was the same thing. It was the devil god, Saturn. So, and the Jews believe that they are direct descendants of Set. Seth and Set. To them, it's the same thing. They've just hidden it in the way they tell you their story, because they got 2 different books. Their real book is the Talmud. All right, the Bible is like poetry. It's the King Jacob. It says James, but James is Jacob. So, and his lover, Lord Buckingham, they both wrote it. With about 300, they were called secretaries of the Lord. Back then, the Lord was Baal, secretaries of Baal, about 300 of them with King Jacob and Lord Buckingham, the two male lovers, and 300 secretaries of Baal wrote the King James authorized Canaanite version called the Holy Bible that we most was given. That's in pretty much every hotel across the world. Okay, now we're going to go. Okay, another name, Alexamenos. All right, this is also connected to Yalda Baoth and Set. So, if you don't know, this is the oldest. This is the real version of it right here. This is the oldest known image of the Christian God. Right here. It's on a wall. This is what remains of it today. They're in real time. But this is what it looks like right here. So you can see on a kind of a cross. It's not really a cross. It's actually a T. As you know, the T is the tab or the mark. You see the Y. That's the Mason. The Mason, compass backwards going up. But it also stands for Yod, the Yod. And here's the donkey head. Okay. Now, the donkey is Set, related to Set. And this is a Roman soldier, okay, worshiping the Christian deity at this time that was connected to the Yahuwah and Set. They were one and the same. And in the Hellenistic name was On. So it was Set On. And here's the Kairos. Remember, Kairos is also the word for Saturn. Here's the Kairos, who was also related to Set. Set in the Hellenized version is On. So we have Set on the cross. Or if you unfold the cross, it's the Saturn cube. Okay. So that brings us to Yalda Baoth. Yalda Baoth, if you break it down and just hear the schematics, the vibration, it's Ya and El, the both. Ya and El. Ya, El, the both. So if you just the semantics, I know I'm not saying that's what it meant. I'm telling you the semantics. There's no coincidences, and the beings that are in. I don't want to say higher realms, but it really is. That don't mean better, and it doesn't mean benevolent. It just means they're vibrating higher, quicker. Okay, and because our eyes aren't convex lenses, they're concave, we can't see them. That's why the only way you can see them is with your single eye, or you can feel them with the mind of your heart. Okay, so that's called real discernment. Now, so it's Ya and El both, which is basically the lion and the dragon. We've all seen this picture right here. Look at that. Right here. This is Ya and El both. Okay. Ya and El to both. Now, this is Isis, the moon. Is because you are and you is. So the moon is or Isis is your reflection. Okay, so there's Is, there's Ra. Look at that big old thing right there. And here's El. Why are they both suns? Because Saturn, they're trying to tell you that's the Saturn is a sun too. All the so-called planets are suns. This is the golden sun. This is El, the golden sun. Okay, this is Ra. That's actually the pole star. Okay, but Saturn, when it comes with the changeover, and Saturn comes up here too, and you notice this little thing right here, this flame, that's the Yod. The same thing that was just right here, this Y, that's right there. That's the same symbol right there. So here's the Yod hidden right there. You wouldn't know it by looking at it. And here's the symbol for Saturn. Half of a heart. Okay? Half of a heart. So it's half. Why is it half? Because they took the great mother from you. Said you can blaspheme the Son, you can blaspheme the Father, you can blaspheme the Son. But if you blaspheme the great, they tell you it says Holy Spirit. That's not the truth. If you blaspheme where you really come from, the womb of the great mother, the top of the top, you're done. And that's what this Saturn symbol is. It's creating without the feminine energy, aka ritual. If you take the sphere out from spiritual, you have rituals. And that's why the L eats, the one making sure that L is eaten, they took the fee out, the sphere. So now they only have the ritual. They're not spiritual. Oh, did I add that? Did y'all even see that? I don't even think y'all seen that. Right here, the Yod, right there. It's the same as that Yod right there. This is Isis. Is it's just your reflection, because you are and you is. That's your reflection. It's Ra El. There's Ra, so it's the lion and the dragon. Okay, it's both Ya and El, the both. And here's El. Notice they're both suns. This is the polar. This is the white light. Okay, the pole star. This is El or Saturn. It's letting you know that every planet is a sun. Now, during the pole shift, this will move here along with the other bowls or trumpets or, planets, seals. All of them mean circles of light. Chakras, the 7 chakras, the 7 churches. Churches means kirks or Circe or circus means circle. Seals means circle. Chakras means wheel of light. All of it, trumpets is a wheel of vibration, a wheel of sound. All of it, a bowl is pouring out the bowls is pouring out the energy of the craters that are reflecting off the plasma. It's talking about the pole shift or the bowl shift. Okay, here's the Saturn symbol. It's half a heart. It's missing the sphere. So they are not spiritual. They are only ritualistic, not spiritual. All right. So, Yalda Bayoff, there's a lot of nonsense on what it really means, the word. Well, you can either go through years of trying to figure out the truth, or you can just see if what I'm about to tell you resonates as the truth, which it is. Yalda means begetter. Okay. Yalda means begetter. All right. A Bayoth is only in magical text. I'm talking about real magic, not with a C, with a CK. When it says magic with a C, that's a trick. That's sleight of the hand. Real magic is MAGICK. So Bayoth, a Bayoth is only found in magical text. All right, underground things that you've never. I hope that you haven't had to go that route. But even if you did, you're here and you made it through it. Okay, I'm aware of these things and I'm here with you. All right. So a Bayoff is only in magic text, and it means Saveot. Tzeveaot. Tzeveot. And that means Sabaoth, which means armies. So Yaldabaoth means begetter of armies. Okay, you know how they say Lord of Hosts, aka Enlil in Sumeria, but in the Bible they say it's Yahweh, the Lord of Hosts. They're talking about the host of the heavenly armies. Well, that's Yaldabaoth. That's what the word means. So it means begetter of armies. Begetter of Sabaoth. Now, who is Sabaoth? Sabaoth is one of Yaldabaoth's sons, right? But it's not his son. It's actually his brother. That's the two jacks. That's what is called the Most High Jack. Anyone that's been in this school, they know what I'm speaking of. I've done numerous teachings with this phrase, the Most High Jack. There's two. That's the two brothers that you constantly hear about supplanting each other. One's the real one, one's the fake one kills one does this, it's the Cainable, spiritual Cain-Abel system to siphon your energy. It's called the red shift, blue shift. It's the pole shift, internally and externally. Okay? It's to create spiritual friction with you operating. You seen that Saturn symbol with you operating with half of the energy, the distorted masculine, and they split that in half and got two double masculine. That's Cainables with no feminine energy. They just wiped it. Why you think there's no major Ra Legion that has the Great Mother? Not one. Everyone fighting in the world is fighting over a Father God Ra Legion. Not one person is in the mix of some sect of followers of this huge mother goddess Ra Legion. You can blaspheme the Father, you can blaspheme the Son. But if you blaspheme that Great Mother, why do you think that is? Because even the beings that are malevolent, that are above, they don't even want to do that. They don't even want to do that. So what they do, you know, the witches, they ride them brooms, they sweep it under the rug. And the whole time, they're using the feminine energy to manifest everything. You cannot create without it. The only thing that you can create without the feminine energy is through a ritual, because you take the sphere off of there. You only have a rituals. You're not spiritual no more where you can manifest instantly. You need to do a ritual to a deity that you believe is higher than you externally. You're praying to it. Only predators pray. You become a predator, one of its army men, using your God power to manifest its will. Its will. Its will. See the wheels, the lights, signatures, the rings of Saturn, Ezekiel's wheels. They're using your mind that came from the womb of the Great Mother, where our minds, where organic minds begin, to manifest their realm, aka realm, aka reality. So, Yaldabaoth means begetter of Sabaoth, which is one of his sons, but it's actually his brother. Okay, so he lied. Remember, Emmanuel said to the Pharisees, the Jews, the Hebrews, the Israelites, your father is the father of lies. He's been a liar and a murderer from the beginning. lied to his own brother and told him it was his son. Abel. Cain killed Abel. Ishmael. So look, listen to the names. Abba El, there's your L, and Cain. Cain. There's your Yah. There's L and Yah. Yah and El to both. Okay. Ishmael and Isaac. Isaac. There's your Ishmael and Isaac. Isaac. Okay. Then you have Yaakov and Esau. Esau was actually, if in the correct pronunciation, Esau. And in certain languages, Esau ends with the L. So there's your L. And Yah, again, Jacob and Esau, Yaakov and Esau. It's all there. So it's the whole brother thing. Hot, cold, red, blue, democrat, aka vampire, republican, aka werewolf. It's either both of them are bad. It's the line of the tribe of Judah coming back to slay the dragon. It's the same being. The line of the tribe of Judah coming back to slay the dragon. Wait a second. Coming back to slay itself? No, it's the father that eats his own children. He ain't coming back to slay the dragon. He coming back for the harvest with the sickle. The rapture. The capture of the raptor. The dragon, or the creature in the crater, the creator, the Ka spirit of Ra, of the Tor, Ka Ra Tor, creator. Ka means spirit, Ra actually means evil, the evil spirit, and the Tor is the toroid field, energy. Ka Ra Tor, in our creator, that you call the creator. Not you, beloved, but many. Okay, so in Aramaic, Sabaoth is Behuda or Yehuda. Sounds a lot like Jehuda or Yehuda. Judah, the tribe of Judah, Yehuda, Behuda. It means shame in Hebrew. And later in Hebrew, they changed it to Boset, which is a term that replaced the name Baal. So in Hebrew, Yalda Baoth is Yalda Behuda or Yalda Yehuda, which means son of Baal or son of shame. So Zavoth or Tzevaot, Savoth. Same thing as Sabaoth or Shabbat, Sabbath. Became Yahweh Sabaoth. Okay, excuse me, Yahuwah Sabaoth. And then in the Greco-Egyptian Ptolemaic kingdom, it became Yahweh, just Yahweh, which is the God of the Jews, and it's Set, On, and Baal all mixed together. So you have Set, the donkey head. This is the oldest, not this, but this is basically what it looks like. The oldest picture connected to Christianity that we have access to. Oh, I keep forgetting to hit the thing. We have this picture right here with the donkey. That's Set. There's Yahuwah, Yahweh Sabaoth. And then we know that they Hellenized the name Set into An, and then the Hyksos dynasty changed Set to Baal Hadad. So Yahuwah Sabaoth got changed to it was Set An. That's where the name Satan comes from. Set An and Baal. All right, it was all mixed into one, and that's who Yahuwah Sabaoth be. That's what and who it is. The amalgamation of those three, which is all Saturn. That's why I'm teaching you this. That's the name of this series, the Saturnal order. You're getting 100% truth about all these things. Those that are still operating in the ego or the persona, the personality, aka the mask. That's what personality is Latin for persona, which means mask, which is only used in rituals, not spiritual being, rituals. So if this hurts you, you know what? It's hurting because you're taking that mask off that's been on so long that it's super glued to your face. And going back to 3200 BC, at least minimum, Set or Sutek or Suti Ash is where the word saint comes from. The very word saint, Saint Jerome, Saint Michael, Saint Peter, Saint this, Saint that, the saints. The 144,000 and the saints, that comes from the word Set. This is a fact. 3200 BC minimum. That's over 5,000 years ago. The oldest anything that resembles Hebrew is 800 BC. Which is Paleo Hebrew that was made by the Greeks. This goes back 5,200 years. Set is where the word saint comes from. SNT. Also where the word Asher comes from, where they tell you, Haya, Asher, Haya. I am that I am. No, it's not what it means. So, and then they also, the Greco-Romans, they changed Set into Typhon, which is a snake lion. They just reversed it from a lion snake to a snake lion. Same thing. Okay? It's the same thing over and over and over and over. It's an onion. It's many messages in there. But the main one really that I'm trying to show you at the end of this teaching, really I want to teach you all of this, but it's to show you about the pole shift, the changeover event. All of this revolves around the pole shift. All of this revolves around the pole shift, the changeover. That's what all of this is. These gods that people are worshiping that really think exist and everything, and these father gods and these symbols and these Yod-Hey, Vav-Heys and tetragrammatons and all that, menorahs and shamash and all, it's all meant, all mind. It all came from the last changeover. And those that made it through and those who've seen or they heard because they went underground and they found out, or they had technology that could watch the watchers and see what was going on until it was safe for them to return to what we call the surface, which is just the plane of inertia. So then we get to the demiurge. Demiurge just means to demerge. Demerge what? The light. So the demiurge, which is also Saturn. Saturn looks like an eye. If you look at the real Saturn, the frequency, okay, they call it the bound god, and they celebrated on Saturnalia, which you call Christmas, because the Capricorn and Aquarius are both ruled by Saturn, except in the coming real full-blown age of Aquarius, there'll be a splitting, what most call the Hopi prophecy, splitting in time, where there'll be a group that stays here in time that's ruled by Saturn, and there's a group that's going to go to the higher realms where Uranus, who is the only signature that is horizontal, set, that is balanced, the sacred masculine, will come into Cancer, the mother sign, the scarab, the one that makes something out of nothing, the sacred feminine, and will be our what you call pole star, and that will make everything be in harmony in the on what you call Earth. I'm not talking about just 3D. I'm talking about this realm. It's much bigger and vaster than what you think. Okay, a lot of people are tired and just like, man, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm ready to just leave. This is crazy. What? Why? What is this all for? Like, what is this all about? You'll see. Don't get discouraged. Endure, beloved. Endure. Endure. Okay? Get down that hallway to that end door. You have to endure. Endure. The end door. Okay? Endure, beloved. You got this. Okay? This is not all there is. Don't get discouraged. If you think you lost a loved one, or someone's sick, or why I don't deserve this, they don't deserve it, she don't deserve it, he don't deserve this. Why? Chief, where's the great mother, Chief? Why are we down? What's going on? I know a lot of you feel like that, but trust me, this is not all there is. Take your author, your pen back. Stop engaging in war. They tell you the victor of war has the pen to his story. No, it's called the truth. You don't have there is no war over truth. The truth is. That means you just be. Stop trying to fight the war so you can write his story or her story. No. Be the truth. Biblicans say all the time, well, how come if we had all these advanced civilizations that writing only goes back to Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization? Because we didn't write, dummy. We didn't have no need for writing. We didn't even speak unless it was to manifest something. Thought to manifest something. We communicated with images, logos, like I said, the Greeks know. Okay. Logos to the Greeks means the word of God. Images. These eyes, concave lenses, can only see virtual images. They don't have the ability to see real images. Only convex lenses can. That's a reptile. Look, this is a convex lens right here. This is our eye. Do you see how the lights come in? Okay, you see this? Oh, that's the object or the oculus. That's where the object is coming in. Okay, this is, you will call this outer space, infinity. You see, really is eternity. The light, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 visible lights coming from one light right here. The white light is coming through the middle. But then you have a focal point where they converge. You think that's a good thing. The lights united. But guess what? After that, you're not here. The object is here. You're down here looking up at the dome. So here's the sun that you think exists and you think it's there and you think it's some hydrogen object. No, it's a intersection. Okay, you're looking at this. So after you see this virtual image, then the light all separates again. Separation, 7 rations where this is the truth. The O. M, which means magnify. O, N. N just means the time it takes. MON, that is mon or moon, reflection. The moon is the reflection of the bigger earth. Okay. Dang, I did it again. I didn't show y'all. Dang it. Look, this is infinity or outer space. Okay. Eternity. Right? Here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 visible lights. Here's your eyeball. Here's the O or oculus or object coming through here. These are 7 visible lights, but there's only one really coming through. Boom, the center. Okay? The center or the entry point. Here's the 7 coming down. They converge. You think that's a good thing. Oh, the light's uniting. But because this is above you, the dome, you're down here looking up at this. This is the sun, the intersection. You're thinking, oh, that's a real thing. No, because after you're done looking at the illusion, it separates again. Sep is 7 rations. The whole time there's only one truth right here. The O, the object or the oculus, okay, the single eye. If thine eye be single and full of light, oh, how thy body shall be full of light. Okay, this is your eye seeing nothing but illusions. The M is magnification, the O is oculus, or where the true object is, and the N is representation of time. Okay, in the Old Testament, the N, the tribe of Judah would always set up camp, and they tell you it's a cross, but it was an X for the Great Mother to the east. And when the sun, they tell you in the book of Numbers that the population of the tribe of Judah was 186,400. Well, that's the speed of light in a vacuum. So that's what N stands for. The speed of which this light is entering the lens. Okay, so that's what you would say, the tribe of Judah. MON, mon or moon. That's the reflection. It's all reflection. This is your eye. Now, here is a reptilian eye. Okay, they can, right here, this is the split. Okay, the where it comes in and a cat eye. That's why people say cats can see interdimensionally and this and that. Well, it's because they can see virtual things and they can see real things, because this doesn't converge and turn into a fake object. It's only the center point. Okay, so when you see these people whose eyes turn for a second into this over here, when you see this, someone on TV and this turns into this, it's because they're doing it. It's unnatural. They've done it unnaturally so they can see the truth. See how it's always in the center? Yes, baby. Okay, hold on. You guys give me 1 second. I gotta help my daughter real quick.
And the poor guys, how do you got it? Are they healthy for the mother's life? Then it asks you from the goddess of Kansas. They work with the Kansas money to Kansas City. I really study Kansas in a city road trip.
They can see you still. You just can't see yourself. They can hear you and see you.
Got a water too.
Okay, Daddy's almost done because I'm gonna pop up, right? Getting upset a little bit. We time. Yeah. All right. Let me see where we're at. I appreciate every one of y'all. Unfortunately, I may have to cut this shorter than I desired. So let me show you something real quick. So this is the way real objects work. For something real, and this is very complicated, I'm just going to show you. A real image is created through a converging lens. Notice the special rays called the principal rays. Well, there's only three. That's what they call the Trinity. That's why they tell you it's the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost that are making everything. You see, it's really just all about light. Okay, it's principal rays. An incident parallel ray passes through the far focal point. It's way over here, right here. Okay. Now you see how this tree is standing upright, but on this side of the lens, it's smaller and it's upside down. This is the image plane. So and note the real image is inverted. Okay. So basically so it's going this way, excuse me. Basically, long story short is we aren't seeing the real images, and anything real that you see will be inverted, including words. That's why they invert all the languages and everything, because language is vibration too. Now, you see how with the concave lens, it just comes straight through, right? That's the middle ray. See, these are the principal rays, 1, 2, 3. Now you have the seven chakras, 7 churches, 7 seals, but the middle ray is the O, or the object, or the oculus. That middle ray is green. That is the heart. That means you see the real with your heart, beloved. This middle ray on the light spectrum is the green. Although I walk through the valley of the shadow. What shadow? What shadow? Let me see. Although I walk through the valley of the shadow, this shadow. This is a shadow right here. Walk through the valley. See how it's going down. The valley. Valley. The shadow of death. I still lie down in green pastures. Why? Because the middle is your heart. It's the middle. You see? That's the where the truth resides, in the green ray. That's why the sun here will never turn green. You know when it turns on the sun cycle, when we're about right here, we're about like right here. This right here is substituted with white light, when really it should be green, because this goes from the Egyptian, the age of Taurus and before, age of Gemini, and then age of Aries, age of Pisces, and this is still the age of Pisces. And then we're going, after this happens, after this will be the age of Aquarius, but then we'll be at the time with no sun, which will be right about here for about 1,200 years. Where there'll be no sun, where it'll be like a sunset color sky for about 1,200 years, no night. But you see how even on the sun cycle, this is the low, long waves. People think they're 900 years old and this and that. Okay. Even with the metals, they tell you, like the Bronze Age and all that, the Iron Age and, the Golden Age. It's all backwards. They tell you the iron mixed with the clay. Well, the clay is the truth, is the earth, the heart. Heart is earth. Okay. So it's the iron, that the blood with the earth. So it's the soul getting back. The soul and the earth are one and the same. Okay. You've been led to believe it means transhumanists, which that's the theater that they're doing, because the masses believe that they're going to enact that. Okay. They're going to enact that theater, and that's what they're doing. But the truth is right here. See, this is like a seesaw, 3 below, 3 above. As above, so below. But what's even? What's balanced? What's whole? What doesn't go up and doesn't go down? What stays even? What is? What just is being? What just bees? If you're on a seesaw, you can't go up and you can't go down without that middle part that stays fixed. That's the green ray. That's the truth. That's the stone that can't be moved. That's it right there. And that's what the truth is right here coming through. But the convex lens, the MON, the moon, also has the truth in it. And this, I can get into this next time. Next teaching. But I had a lot more to go, to be honest with you. But it's always a good thing. I love when there's more to do and more to teach. And I know I say it almost every teaching that I desire to be back on here tomorrow. And maybe, I don't know. All right. But part 4 will be soon. It'll be right. It'll be perfectly at the perfect moment. So I hope just as much as you that it's sooner than later. So yeah, I got much more to show you. So I'm thinking it's probably gonna go 5. I think it is probably at the most 6, but definitely 5. So, and I will say part 4 will be more intriguing than this. It seems like every other one is like foundation, unvelation, foundation, unvelation. So this is similar to part 1, where it was just laying some foundations for the next one. How part 2 was more like, mind-blowing moments. The next one, part 4, will be more like mind-blowing moments. So I love all of you. I can't say enough. I can't say it properly. The best I can say is that I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I humbly am honored to be your teacher, your brother, and your student in moments. I learn from you all as well. Don't think for one moment that I'm above you in any kind of way. Okay, this is just, I have just remembered who I am and what I am and why I'm here, and I'm just here to guide you to be able to do the same. And you will, and you are. Okay. So I love you all. As always, if you're able to help out with the Mooney, I'll post the links and everything. But love you all. And as always, miss it.